In today's world, the search for alternative energy sources is a major issue. We need to find a way to power this world while alleviating our reliance on fossil fuels and other harmful ways of producing energy, and I believe that wind power is the answer. North Dakota has the greatest wind energy potential of any state in the country, as stated by the U.S. Department of Energy in 2000, yet ranks 11th in overall wind production. Now, with all that potential, there is no reason not to have more production. I'm proposing that NDSU add wind turbines to its source of electricity to reduce the need for fossil fuels, creating a cleaner, greener NDSU campus, and to help launch North Dakota to the front of the line in wind power production. I will share with you the problems surrounding adding wind power to NDSU's energy source, the solution to that problem, and the benefits wind power can have. I recently have done a lot of research on this subject for a written proposal for an English class, and found that a lot of people think that finding and using alternative energy sources is a vital issue they would like to know more about, especially around our area with the constant breeze that we have here in the Great Plains. North Dakota State University currently uses energy sources of electricity and coal combustion to power our campus. But what NDSU should take into consideration is the development of a wind energy source. The combustion of coal is commonly used to accommodate and heat the large facilities at NDSU. Combustion of coal has been a problem for many years due to the fact that it is easily accessible. It's an easily accessible mineral source and doesn't take much energy to use. NDSU uses coal combustion as their main means of heating in the chilly months of winter, and this facility's habit may be causing more harm to its campus environment than it's worth. Here are a number of adverse environmental effects of coal mining and burning. The release of carbon dioxide and methane, both of which are greenhouse gases causing climate change and global warming, according to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Coal is the largest contributor to the human-made increase of CO2 in the atmosphere. Waste products including uranium, thorium, and other radioactive and heavy metal contaminants, and acid rain are also byproducts of burning coal. One of the main problems that many alternative energy issues have comes down to its financial risk. According to the Surging Energy Costs article on InsideHigherEducation.com, around the country colleges are facing sharply higher energy costs as prices for oil and natural gas and coal have been driven up, increasing demand, and especially by the impact of natural disasters on production and delivery. Today's energy costs are soaring to record highs, and in the near future, prices are estimated to only rise further. In a climate such as North Dakota, where heating is needed in the bitter cold winter months and cooling needed during the hot summer months, the energy use can be very high. This leads to electric companies taking advantage of people who pay their outrageous bills. Another roadblock is getting started. In a recent interview I had with a new wind farm owner, I found that getting started is the hardest part. The first step is getting your land appraised for wind potential. With wind power being a very hot topic right now, the companies that do these appraisals are very busy. Another hurdle is getting the startup capital. The wind turbines are very expensive. It costs about $2 million per megawatt of capability. This owner, however, has a group of 9 farmers, including him, that are starting a wind farm just outside of Glenwood, Minnesota. Their wind farm will contain either 11 large 1 megawatt turbines or 22 smaller turbines. Wind is the most logical solution to North Dakota State University energy costs. The North Dakota Wind Energy Resource states that North Dakota is the #1 state for potential wind energy, yet is ranked 11th. Who better to help launch the state into an energy revolution than NDSU? North Dakota has the potential to produce 1.2 trillion kilowatts of hour of electricity per year. My proposal is to use the existing power grid and to simply add wind turbines to it. The addition will not interrupt the power system. When the wind blows, electricity is generated for the campus and not taken from the utility company that uses fossil fuels. Granted, the wind does not blow 100% of the time, and additional sources would be needed to power the buildings on calmer days. That power source is already there, and by adding a few wind turbines, it would allow the buildings to pay for less utility power. At times when the turbines are overproducing, it will put energy back into the power grid and gain the university money or credit on its electric accounts. I suggest starting small. The wind farm itself would take up very little land and could be placed on existing NDSU properties such as the agricultural test fields and farms where farming and grazing possible up to the base of these structures. Initially, a single tower would be constructed with more added later. The reason for such is initial funding. 1 megawatt can supply 225 to 300 average American homes. Kilowatt hours are rated by the hour. Large-scale wind turbines create between 700 kilowatts to 2.5 megawatts per hour. There are even 5 and 7 megawatt turbines in existence according to the American Wind Energy Association. In the long run, a few of these larger turbines would be needed to power the entire campus of NDSU on windy days, with the excess power going back into the power grid, earning money. This allows the school to save on its energy costs while earning on the investment. For example, according to Jeanette Fisher of the Spirit Lake Wind Project, Spirit Lake Elementary School in Iowa installed a 250 kilowatt turbine and saved almost $500,000 in energy costs, as well as earning $25,000 in its first 5 years on top of cutting their energy costs. The turbine was paid off 3.5 years ahead of schedule. The school district has since added a larger, more powerful turbine that actually powers the entire school district. The wind truly seems to be the most beneficial energy source that we have at our fingertips. To start, the wind energy is competitive in today's struggling economy. With rising coal and gas prices, new wind plants compete favorably against any electricity source. Because the source of wind is free, it greatly reduces the reliance and risk that comes with fossil fuel prices. Wind displaces electricity that would be produced by burning natural gas, coal, or nuclear power. If you compare the cost of wind energy, 4.8 to 5.5 cents per kilowatt hour for coal, to 11.1 to 14.5 cents per kilowatt hour for nuclear power, wind energy is by far the cheapest. Costs of wind energy have gone down by more than 80% since the 1980s, with even lower prices expected in the future. This helps in reducing the demand on gas and limit gas price hikes. In most areas of the country, every bit of electricity produced by wind power helps reduce the demand on natural gas and other fossil fuels. Lower demand on these fossil fuels helps alleviate rising costs of consumer heating and electricity, industrial, chemical, and agricultural process. The electricity that is produced by Americans' wind machines annually displaces the energy equivalent to 6.4 million barrels of oil and 1.67 million tons of carbon-emitting coal, as well as all the gases and stuff, and sulfur and nitrogen oxide that's put into the air because of it. Wind energy can be a valuable crop of the future for rural farmers. Wind farms located in rural areas generate energy that can be transmitted to load centers in urban areas via their regional energy grid. Wind turbines work well with rural land users. Crops can be grown around, and livestock can graze up to the base of the turbines. Wind energy could provide up to 20% of America's electricity, with equipment taking up less than 1% of the total land area. And within that area, less than 5% of the land would be occupied by equipment. The remaining 95% could continue to be used for farming and ranching. By the end of this year, nearly 10 million American homes could be powered by wind. Unlike most other electricity sources, wind turbines don't use any water. Irrigation and thermal electricity energy sources account for about 77% of U.S. freshwater use. Regular energy plants that create their power from fossil fuels and nuclear fuels use large amounts of water for cooling. This makes wind energy a better choice for rural communities that are suffering from drought. Wind energy is an inexhaustible and indefinitely renewable. Unlike most conventional fossil fuels, wind energy is renewable and abundantly available for the future. It also has many environmental benefits. Wind energy is clean. It produces no emissions, which means it doesn't contribute to global weather problems such as acid rain and snow, global climate change, smog, regional haze, mercury contamination, and water withdrawal. Now, I've gone over some of the problems with alternative energy sources like wind. I've given a solution to these problems, and because of all the reasons listed above, wind has gained overwhelming public support. Many people express their support by purchasing blocks of wind Wind farms provide new jobs, tax revenue, and income for landowners. Because customers want wind as a portion of their electricity portfolio, more than 300 utilities companies currently offer green pricing programs that include wind energy. Wind energy is the fuel of today and tomorrow. Today, wind provides competitive electricity. Tomorrow, it is likely to be the cheapest source of electricity available. I believe that NDSU should implement wind power to its energy source. Let this university pave the way to put North Dakota on the map as a national leader to renewable wind energy.